What is going on, Skye Squad? We are back in the building. Y'all, listen. I want to recap the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We have a new episode out. I will flash the episode number and the title of the episode on the screen so that you guys can see it right here. Because, again, I'm driving. So, for some reason, y'all like these car videos. And so I'm like, you know what? While I am on the go, a lot of you guys know what's going on with me right now. So if you see me in this hoodie all the time, it's because it's the only hoodie I brought with me. I love a hoodie. And when I go out and I got to run some errands and I don't have a lot of jackets here, this hoodie just serves me well for a quick outing, okay? So don't feel like I ain't got no clothes, okay? And even if I didn't, it will be fine because ain't nothing wrong with re-wearing your clothes. Don't let these Instagram people, including me, make you feel like you need to have a different outfit on every time you get online. Don't let them make you feel like that, okay? You ain't gotta be like Dorit and Erica and them and never wear the same thing more than once. You ain't gotta be like them people. Anyway, y'all listen. Oh, yo, side note. Y'all follow me on Snapchat. Follow me on the Snapchat. I don't care where else you following me at. Actually, I do. Follow me everywhere, right? But follow me on the Snap. Please, please, please. I'm going to try to put the QR code on every video from this point forward because I got to grow on my snaps. I'm snapping. Baby, I'm snap, crackling, popping, okay? All right, so let's get into the review. Now that you have followed me on Snapchat, now that you have purchased The Wickedest Wives books on Amazon and left not a sparkling review, an honest review, leave a review. The reviews help me make my next book better, and it tells me who to focus on in each book. So if you got a specific character that you love, then you let me know in the review so then I can focus more of my attention on them because I have my ideas of who my favorite people are to write, but y'all might have y'all favorite ideas on who y'all want to hear about. And I realized in writing this book that y'all like I don't want to call it the smut, but y'all like the nitty gritty. You know, y'all like the down and dirty, for me, I was thinking I was going to be writing some love making, but that's not what y'all want. I figured it out. Y'all want that down and dirty. So I'm going to give y'all that in this book. So anyway, the episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills came on last night, and I got a couple of observations that probably won't be popular amongst a lot of people, and I'm okay with that. You know, I'm reviewing this show from the perspective of someone who has A, been on reality TV, B, for a very short period of time. So no seasons upon seasons here, okay? You know, I ain't no reality star. I'm starless. What did he say? Starless. I'm starless. But not on Snapchat. Anyway, shout out to my boo. So anyway, let's get into the episode. All right, so is it me? I'm gonna give this episode a 10 out of 10. First things first. All right, first things off the rip. We're gonna give it a 10 out of 10. And I got a couple of observations that are probably not gonna be too popular, but I'm gonna make them a couple in advance. Number one is a lot of y'all like Dorit right now because she's coming for Kyle. Okay? Let's be 100% and keep it 100% faux real. A lot of y'all really just are enjoying Dorit right now because she's activated and she is coming for Kyle. Okay? Not much has really changed about Dorit. Let me break that down for you. The core essence of who she is has not changed. But I always liked Dorit. I just have always felt like she could be a little unawares, right? I feel like, but a lot of them are, and that's okay, because this is a cast of women that seems open to difficult conversations, which I absolutely kind of really love, right? Another thing that I want to address, and this is something that I've seen across the interwebs, and we're going to get into that. We really need to. Okay, so the thing is, I've seen a lot of discourse online about Garcelle and her not doing enough or not giving enough. And, you know, there's something that I need to address with that, is because I feel like, this is my opinion, and this is strictly my opinion. I earlier made the assessment that I felt like Garcelle was going to go the way of Candy, and probably this may be her last season. I don't really know. I'm just making an educated guess based on the amount of work she's doing outside of the show and in the entertainment industry in and of itself. I feel like she can have a very long-lasting career making, you know, television, movies, and series and stuff like that, still working with the network and streaming. I feel like there's a lot that Garcelle can do. And a lot of people feel like, for some reason, I think it was a statement that Erica made, that she wanted to see more of Sutton's and more of Garcelle opening up their lives. And to me, that really annoyed me, because it made me just kind of feel like, girl, the only reason you had the opportunity to open up, which you really kind of didn't, you didn't open up as much as you did lash out. You opened up more after the lashing out, which I appreciated, which is why I now gravitate toward Erica a lot more. Because after her lashing out, when people question what was happening with her and Tom, that seemed to be the timing of everything that happened seemed very suspicious. Sutton and Garcelle were among the two people who were doing the asking of the question, and Sutton got her head bitten off by it. Sutton also offered Erica assistance during that period of time. Now, she did the same thing for Dorit when she said, I have a shoulder for you to cry on, right? Now, here's the thing about that. If I'm going to listen to anybody's advice about getting a divorce from a very rich, wealthy individual who is very powerful and who has a lot of money, I'm going to listen to Sutton. Why? Sutton is getting $350,000 per month in her settlement, I think, right? So if I'm going to listen to the person who is getting $350,000 per month versus somebody else, girl, tell me, give me the tea. I want all of the tea. Girl, ask me all the questions you want. Tell me how you get to the money, okay? That's what I want to know. And a large part of me feels like there is a little bit of, and I don't want to say this, I feel like there's a little bit of resentment that Sutton doesn't really need this show. Now, Sutton is not perfect by far. Sutton is not perfect by far. Cordell is not perfect by far. But what I like about Sutton as a housewife is that she does not need the show. And Sutton oftentimes sticks her own foot in her mouth. Sutton also is very reactive. These are things that I like in a housewife. These are things that make for a long-term housewife, to me, okay? And there's a small part of me that wonders if some of the ladies feel like Sutton and her kooky, crazy, you know, sometimes antics are a little bit like, we don't really F with you like that, because we need this show for the money and you don't. What are you doing here? Like, you don't even fit with this group. I feel like a lot of them feel like that. I do. I really do. Now, granted, I'm not saying that Sutton is not without her own faults, right? Sutton has got to learn that she can't help everybody, right? And just because you do offer help, that does not mean that you also have to offer any guidance on what they do with their kids. So when she made a suggestion in this episode about, you know, well, the kids are going to eventually find out, yes, that's probably true, but Dorit has the right to shield her kids from what she wants to shield them from for however long she feels it. I feel like Sutton was coming from a place of, girl, I've been here. The kid, it's going to come out. But at the same time, I feel like Sutton, there's a gentleness with that which you have to kind of deal with somebody who is going through and through and through and through and through. Now, again, I do feel like the issues between Sutton and Dorit are really Dorit's fault, because let's go back. Let's take it back. Let me take it back. First of all, I don't think they ever really liked each other to begin with. Two, I think that when Sutton offered her a shoulder to cry on or an ear to listen to her, I think it was genuine, because I think she knows. But I also feel like when Sutton was trying to tell Dorit in the Sprinter van that Kyle and Erica were whispering about her when they were all in conversation at the table when they were on the trip, Erica was about to go into defense mode, rightfully so, right? Because I don't think that what she was saying was malicious, but it was still a whispered conversation about Dorit. And oftentimes I feel like in this situation between Dorit, Kyle, and Erica is stuck in the middle, which is not an easy place to be. But at times I don't feel like she steps up and says what's really going on, right? I don't think she's giving it to Kyle the way she needs to give it to Kyle. I think she's doing a lot of lip service in front of Dorit, but not to Kyle, right? So I think, and there's a little bit of deference to Kyle for being the queen bee of the show. I do. I think that Erica defers that to her, right? And that's understandable, girl. Like, it's because of you I got a job. Literally, right? Now, granted, Erica has earned her own space within this group. Nobody can deny that. I have found myself falling back in love with Erica at times. And I think that she's good for the show. And I like her sort of relaxed, humbled. I used to be wealthy, but I'm still fabulous demeanor. I love that. I love that for this show. I love that it's an interesting part of the Beverly Hills lifestyle. But again, the issues with Dorit and Sutton started when I felt like Dorit, in her fire and her angst of what she's going through, instead of listening to Sutton for what she was trying to say about her two friends that were talking about her at the table, she lashed out at Sutton because she is going through and through and through and through and through. And when Sutton said, "You're not mad at me, you're mad at your life," while it was a low blow to someone who was going through and through and through and through, I felt like she was right. Sutton was trying to help her. Now, should Sutton have said it? No. No, she shouldn't have. But at the end of the day, it was said and now it's done. So when they get into the argument later in this episode, when Sutton was like, "Girl, I'm done. Okay, you know what? I take it back. Girl, I'm not your friend. You're right. We were never friends to begin with. I'm cordial with you. You talk to your real friend." I think that interaction, that argument with Sutton was an ignition for Dorit. I think she was already like, this girl has just yelled at me and screamed at me, and now Kyle is doing it? Oh heck no. But anyway, I'm going out of order, right? The other thing that I wanted to address is Bose. I like Bose, right? And can't nobody make me not like Bose. But Bose, I'm gonna need you to spend a little bit more time with some of the other ladies, okay? Because it feels to me like, okay, if Sutton brought you onto the show, which we know is really code for we need somebody to introduce her, it makes absolutely zero sense for Bose to only be having separate conversations with Erica and Dorit, but we never see her have like one-on-one sit-down conversations with Sutton, who introduced her. Y'all gotta make the story make sense, because otherwise it ever seems like is Dorit unleashes all of her issues to Bose, who is a willing listening ear. And as a result, she's forming her opinions on Sutton, not only based on the interactions within the group, but also I feel like they are a bit colored by Dorit and Erica's experience with Sutton, who don't really even like Sutton anyway. So versus Bose just sitting down and having some one-on-one time, I agree with Sutton. If she spent a little bit more time getting to know Sutton as well as Dorit, then maybe she would be able to have a more neutral opinion, because I don't feel like she is that neutral. And maybe she doesn't have to be, right? Everybody ain't gotta like everybody, and I'm all in favor of that. Keep it real. Maybe she introduced you to the group, but you just don't really like her. Even when she, because I feel like she has a lot to say about Sutton, her friend who introduced her. Girl, take her out to lunch and tell her how you feel like your friend has been acting. If I'm Bose, and if I'm producers, I'm gonna say, Bose, you have these feelings about Sutton, who is the person who introduced you to this group. You need to sit down and have a conversation with her about how you think she's acting within the group and how it's surprising to you. That, to me, would have been a lot more interesting than Sutton having to find Bose and then confront her about her feelings, being hurt about an interaction that Bose has been continuously feeling a way about. So anyway, a couple of things that we get in this episode that I thought were really, really good. I enjoy getting to know Bose and her man. Speaking of Bose, I think she is super fabulous. I think she's a great addition to the show. I do want her to mix it up a bit more with the rest of the ladies, because otherwise it is coming across as though Bose is Dorit's bodyguard. And I'm like, girl, she don't need one. She already got Erica. Well, Erica have time in it, because Erica ain't really giving it to Kyle like she need to give it to her when she need to give it to her. Okay? I thought that her getting to know her man, us getting to know her and her man was cute. I like that. The scene that really got me, for those people who harping on Garcelle not giving a lot, is I do feel like, Garcelle has given so much to this show. Garcelle has had to be the person that pushed conversations when conversations would never have been had. Garcelle has been the person that called out the Fox Force 5 when nobody else was willing to do so. Garcelle has been the person who has told us more about her son than Erica has in the entire time that she's been on the show. Granted, we understand what he does, but we know nothing about him, right? So I just kind of feel like, in much of what we found out about their marriage, about Erica's marriage, we had to read about in the news and then find out afterwards that he was treating her so bad, which for the entire time he was actually there with her, we never saw that. We never saw it. Garcelle has willingly shared her story. And last night was a perfect example of it. To me, I feel like I don't know any of those other women up there who has already had one of their sons not only attacked on social media, so much so that he's now unwilling to film, who has had a cast member doggone near curse him out, tell him to get up out the room, while the other cast members laughed at his expense. What more do you want from this woman? For real, like what do you want? I am so sick and tired of, I feel like sometimes, Housewives in its inception, no one was concerned about storyline. At least as a viewer, nobody was. Everybody, we were all just watching for the pure joy of watching a bunch of zany women, some of them delusional, some of them who were over workers, some of them who were just simply homemakers, some of them who had shopping habits and addictions, and not like those addictions, but I'm just saying, like, who were, that's what we were watching, and we loved it. And some of them were doing absolutely nothing. Okay? Nothing. But now it's evolved to the point where every season, everybody expects everybody to be scandalous and everybody to have something crazy going on. Ooh! Everybody has to be shaking the table. That's not the case. Okay, so now that I've gotten that out of my system, I love the scene with Garcelle and her sons, and just hearing the story of how she had to essentially distance herself from her son while he was going through his addiction because it was just so bad. Just coming from a family who is also had people who have had addictions, and there have had to be tough decisions that have had to be made, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. And sometimes you don't make those decisions and they never get any better. Sometimes you make those decisions and they do. Thank God, you know, the situation turned out the way that it turned out and he was able to turn his life around. But to share that story, you know, it just reminds me of Mary this season. And, you know, the crazy thing about it is, for all of those people who are saying, oh, you know, Garcelle isn't doing it, it's like, no, she's not doing it. She's living it. So anyway, now that I've said that, I think that, you know, the ladies are all at the Viper Room, and, you know, we get an interaction where Sutton confronts Bose, which I like that she confronted her, because I'm like, let's take it to the source. I like that Bose tells her, you know, you are a bit dangerous with your words. But I felt like that was also a moment for them to set aside a sit down conversation and say, hey, let's have a one-on-one, right? There's a moment where, you know, Sutton says something to the effect of, you know, Bose's use of language. I don't know if that was like shocked that a black person could speak that well, or just shocked in general that someone is good with their words. You know, I've been in situations before where somebody says, "Oh my God, what was that? What was that? What do you mean? What does that word that you just used mean?" And I don't take it no type of way. But, you know, I think just as a black person in general, I'm always on guard, like, how you mean that? It's like when I go to another country, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I often get this question a lot of times when I travel, either, you know, with my small friend group or solo or with a big group, like some of the trips that we have coming up this year. People will ask, well, how were the black people treated there? Like a lot of people ask, how are black people treated in Switzerland? And it's a hard question to answer, because I will tell you that when I first got to Switzerland, I was on guard. And I feel like it's a natural inclination. And I think it is really interesting because it tells me that while I'm here in the United States, my guard is always up. Like, I'm guarded about any type of mistreatment, because it's prevalent, right? Sometimes, not all the time. They're not from everybody, but, you know, it's a question that comes up. And I will tell you that sometimes when I go to another country, I have to teach myself to relax that aspect of me and just experience the place for what it is. So I have to ask myself in those moments when someone on screen says something like that to a person of color, a black woman specifically, who is clearly a boss B, right? Was the shock because she's black, or was the just shock because, you know, it was a big word that you like to use? You just never know. So I'm trying to get better about that. So I admit to my own little biases with stuff like that as well. So then, you know, we get to the table, you know, Kesha is there. There's a conversation that happens that starts with, you know, Dorit confronting Kyle about texting PK. Now, just the basics: girl code, boy code, friend code. I don't really, like, I love my friends and their significant others. I have a general rule that I will treat them with the utmost kindness, respect, but I try to limit any personal interactions with them, because in the past I have just found that it just doesn't end well, typically. So I think in this situation, when Kyle stopped being so close to Dorit, I think that she probably should have just scaled back her communications with PK, because I just feel like it's not gonna look right. And she knows that. Even if it is just memes and things, like, girl, no. There's no need for you to be texting him a meme at this point. If you can't text me, don't text him. Because if the shoe was on the other foot and Dorit was texting Mauricio, there will be a problem, okay? Even though Kyle running across the country with a woman named Morgan. Anyway, so Kyle is acting woefully obtuse about this, and if I'm Dorit, I'm getting upset too. Somehow this segues into a conversation between Sutton and Dorit about whether or not Sutton was being genuine about her support of Dorit throughout the divorce, because of the comment that she made, I guess either the night before or in the last episode. While I admit that I feel like the comment was a gut punch comment, in which Sutton often delivers gut punch comments that she will later likely regret, although after this interaction I don't think that she will. I do feel like Sutton was being misunderstood initially, going back to the Sprinter van. Now, is another opportunity for Erica, who of course already doesn't like Sutton, and Bose, who clearly is just don't like Sutton either, to be like, oh, here she go again, child. And it's like, I don't care. Honestly, y'all, I won't even mad at Sutton blowing up on Dorit in that moment. Like, I'm definitely team Dorit in the Kyle and Dorit of it all, but like, I feel like Dorit is also pulling the Erica and blasting anybody within shooting firing range. And so Sutton is just another one of those people in firing range. And I felt like last night Sutton was like, girl, okay, fine, F it, I get it. We ain't friends, I take it back. I ain't gonna offer you no help. Girl, deal with your divorce on your own and goodbye, good night. Now, I also think that Sutton should have probably just left out that comment about the kids gonna find out about it eventually. Because while that's true, even the word kid, I don't know. But I go back to Dorit and Kyle laughing about Erica yelling at Garcelle's son. And I'm kind of like, and suddenly kids are sensitive. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm just calling a thing a thing. And I try to go into every season with a new Patti LaBelle attitude, but I'm still stuck on it. So I admit my bias to that too. Okay, keeping it 100% for real in my Nene voice. Suddenly kids are off limits. Girl, Garcelle, shut up, because it was your kids they was laughing at. So anyway, this leads back around to Kyle and Dorit. And Kyle now is over it. I think Kyle has been strengthened by Kyle has Voltroned with Sutton at this moment, okay? And because I saw them whisper, I think I thought I saw Sutton whisper in Kyle's ear about Sutton. And Kyle is over it because Kyle said, listen, I'm sorry. Even though Kyle was being woefully obtuse, she did apologize. But at this point, Dorit is like, I need some answers, because if the shoe was on the other foot, you would be giving me the business. And then Kyle has had enough. She's like, I'm done. Dorit is like, explain done. You need to be very clear about done. And Kyle blocks her and is like, well, what do you need for me to be clear about? I did think that was funny. But at that point, I thought I heard Kyle say some FUs or something like that. I really can't be clear, okay? I can't be clear, Casper, but I think she did. And, you know, she's basically asking Dorit, I've apologized already. What else do you want from me? And Dorit is like, I want you to stop effing yelling at me. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, yes, give it to me. I rewound that scene like 10 times. And I'm watching it, I'm like, ooh. Then the producers, y'all, I'm so mad at y'all. Y'all faded to black at that moment. Now see, Potomac producers, this is a moment where you can do a to be continued when something is actually really happening, okay? Something meaningful, something new, okay? Somebody dropping a glass or something like that. I don't know what's going on. But, you know, I did feel like Dorit probably felt like these girls have been giving it to me. I am tired. I am sick and tired. And I don't mind that, Dorit. I don't mind it. And the reason why I love this season of Housewives of Beverly Hills so much is because I can see a little bit of everybody's side in it, right? Well, except for Kyle's. But I can see that Kyle has her own perceptions of what the situation is, but I feel like Kyle also victimizes herself. I feel like Dorit is sick and tired and fed up, but I think she's also unleashing on any and everybody that she feels like has wronged her. I feel like Sutton, keep your opinions to yourself. Stop trying to help these girls. I feel like Bose, get to know some of the other ladies outside of just listening to Dorit as her therapist every week. We did get some surprises from Dorit. You know, they've had her and PK are going through and through and through. Girl filed the divorce papers, get the jump on the situation so you can get the heck up out of there. This man is sober and he don't want you. And sometimes a sober mind is a different person. And that's okay. Cause it sounds like you got the streets say you got a new man anyway. And I ain't gonna lie. I mean, when I saw the photo, I was like, oh, they look hot together. Okay. Definitely hotter than her and PK. And I feel like deserves a hottie. Girl, go get yourself a hottie, a McHottie, okay? Because I guarantee you, PK gonna find himself some young tenderoni. Watch and see. He gonna find himself a tenderoni, okay? Tender as the day is long. So girl, you find yourself a tenderoni too. A good old mandinga, okay? That's what and swing from it, okay? Swing from it, all right? Anyway, I like this episode, y'all. That's all I got to say. Loving Hip Hop Atlanta recap coming. I'm gonna try to find somewhere else to go in the car and give it to y'all too, okay? So anyway, follow me on the Snapchat, DJRichieSkye. You see it, okay? Y'all. These car videos, they be tripping me out. I don't know what happens. Is it a spirit in this car? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.